the reason you're late to this show because you were watching the Taylor Swift podcast with the Kelsey brothers?
The players are going to play, and the haters are going to hate, baby. Of course.
Is that something that Taylor Swift says in one of her songs?
Oh, come on, dude, you know. Come on, dude.
I do not know.
Wait, don't do this, man.
I don't know.
Do you have haters?
I mean, I sure as hell have haters. Go read Tiger Droppings.
Do you shake them off?
I don't pay attention to it anymore. I used to react to all of it. Now, I mean, we'll interact for content's sake, but I don't. I mean,
Blake, I do want to first shout out. I don't know him, but I saw he had a birthday today. Shout out West Weeks. Happy birthday to you, Mr. West. I need you to be big in this final red shirt season. Get the dream, West Week. Get to play with your brothers. So shout out to you. Hopefully you ball out of control this year. But Blake, I heard the most disgusting thing because you know what happened all off season. You know what happened all off season, Blake.
What?
I started talking myself into the Auburn Tigers being a sneaky good team.
Why do y'all do this shit to yourselves every year?
And you won't believe what I heard. Jay Hokinson on Twitter is his name.
Mm-hmm.
Hugh Freeze. Yes. Hugh Freeze is pulling an Ed Orgeron. Okay. Did you see this? Someone is going to call the first down plays. Someone else is going to call the second down plays. And someone else is going to call the third down plays. What in the Jake Peets and DJ Mangus is going on here? It pisses me off. I'm out on Auburn. It's going to backfire horribly. That makes no sense.
Especially when you have a quarterback that hears three different voices in his head.
Yes, with the radio. Are you freaking kidding me? Really, Auburn? You're gonna do this to me in 2025? And I was singing your praises. I'm gonna go bet they're under tonight. They're going to be one of my favorite overplays. Guys are going to look smart.
That was dumb for you to say that before they announced this anyway.
Well, Auburn top 5 in yards per play offensively and defensively.
Turn on the film. Turn on the film.
They were an unlucky team. Efficiency
they weren't.
They were fine.
They weren't.
They just have Peyton Thorne at quarterback.
There's no. It's not just a Peyton Thorne thing. No. Hugh Freeze's offense has generated more turnovers when he's been a head coach in the SEC than the top coaches that are in the SEC combined. They have been the most turnover-prone offense when he was at Ole Miss and at Auburn combined.
I hate we're not playing them this year. I really do.
Me too. We would win. We would beat their ass. They're good. They're good defensively. They got a lot of junk yardage. A lot. Yards mean nothing when you don't get points. Yards per play means nothing when you don't get points.
I do think though that Cam Coleman and Singleton they're going to be lethal. If Jackson Arnold
throwing them the football,
that's what I'm saying. If Jackson Arnold I don't understand because I'm picking Auburn because I think the SEC is going to be chaos and I like what they have in the trenches. I think Kev Falk nationally is Kedrick Falk is underrated, and man, he's got a. Don't pause me here. He's got a nasty get off. He can get off that edge. Yeah, but that's the term. You can get off the line of scrimmage. I tried to talk myself into them, but now I'm out after that amalgamation of a quote. Hopefully it was a fake quote. Hopefully I'm fake. I got fake news because I don't want to spend too much time talking about Auburn, but there we go. I thought immediately of the Jake Peets, DJ Mangus catastrophe, and it was a disservice to them both that they had to do that. So if that is indeed what happened, as Tom Hart revealed to millions upon millions of people a few years ago. But there we go, Blake.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not I'm not really convinced that they're just a good team. I mean, Jackson Arnold had a horrible year. Things don't just get fixed. Not like that. He's made horrible decisions. He's going to have to prove to a lot of people, and it's a massive if. Like, people use that word if as it's not a massive one. So we'll see. Carter, what have been your most positive things coming out of camp through 12 days?
Yeah, Patrick Peyton is a dude, man. You know, I will say, Blake, I have been a little bit more bullish what I've heard about the offensive tackle play, because during spring there were just days where, you know, the ends were just dominating. Now there have been some of those. I mean, you've been at practice actually, but I've become a little bit happier with where the offensive tackles are. But you tell me, has Patrick Peyton looked better in your mind?
I think he's looked fine. I think he hasn't been out there with the ones a lot. I think they've put him down on third down situations, and they've let Relaford and Pyburn be the first down, second down run stuffing, defensive edge guys. I think they'll use him in some certain situations. I think if he learned to put it all together and didn't take some plays off here and there, he could be a top 10 pick. He is that talented.
And Blake, there was real steam from my Florida State guys regarding that, right? The plays off and being fully locked in. And I think Kevin Peoples, who's hard-nosed, he's hard on his guys. I think that style of coaching will do Patrick Peyton wonders. I think about him as a disruptor more than like a bender, like an Arden Key, if you will. But he is the best at making plays at the line of scrimmage with his ball skills, right? He bats down balls at the line of scrimmage better than any defensive end I've ever seen. I mean,
and he's done that. He's done that to Garrett like 3 times.
Yes. And the thing is that becomes more valuable when you play some of the shorter quarterbacks. You know, you play a guy like Diego Pavia who had that issue last year. So I've grown on Patrick Payton. Obviously, I love this defensive end room for LSU, and obviously Harold Perkins just making a splash play, if not in every practice session, in every other practice session. You know, you're starting to see some of these instinctual things happen. Now, obviously, Blake, you've mentioned the offensive line and running the football. You know, you could beat Clemson without running the football well if you just sun run and your defense plays amazing. You can find a way to win ugly. It's just exponentially your chances of winning go way down if you can't go out there and smash those motherfuckers in the mouth. I mean, you have got to be ready to play at a different mindset, a different level. I mean, this is going to be a visceral environment. And the thing that I would say to Brad Davis, because, like, you know, I'm not big on cliches at all, but there are rare instances in life, Blake Ruffino, where people doubt you, right? We all say we have doubters. We all say we have haters. We all have some. But this LSU offensive line, they got haters. I mean, I'm talking like Dave Chappelle skit level haters right here, okay? This is a player's hater ball. Nobody is believing in this LSU offensive line versus this vaunted Clemson defensive line. You can legitimately tell that to your guys and say, look, you could shock the world, right? Equally how our offensive line in the season opener last year got their ass kicked. And it shocked us. We were legit floored, Blake Ruffino, that we could not run the football versus a USC defensive line that nobody had as an elite unit. And they weren't an elite unit. They were a good unit. Now the opposite can happen. You could pull off one of the more magical upsets in positional variance, in positional matchups, with your offensive line buckling their damn chin straps up and saying, look, it doesn't matter if we're going to duo, doesn't matter if we're going to counter, doesn't matter if we're going to IZ this bad bitch up the middle. We are going to run the damn ball. And you know you have a back that you don't need the biggest hole for him to run through. And he's got a great feel for being only a year 2 player in Caden Durham. So this is a time where you could just say, hey, nobody believes in you. And guess what? It's actually true.
Well, I mean, hopefully they listen to tonight and they get fired up because, I mean, the bottom line is they got yelled at in walkthroughs because they weren't doing the right thing. And listen, I will continue to say this. I don't think there's much gelling that has to go on in zone blocking schemes. Either one of two things are going to happen. Either the backside tackle is going to go to the weak side backer, okay, or you're going to hit a 3-tech, go to the weak side backer, and leave the edge unblocked. Or the tackle's going to go and to the weak side backer, or he's just going to hold contain on the end line of scrimmage, depending on how the formation's set up. Okay. The problem is, Carter, apparently today I was told that the offense had a much better day. Barrion Brown cut a couple fades, deep posted to Kyle Parker is what I was told, and they went bombs over Baghdad. I do think Barrion and Garrett have found a little bit more of a connection in week 2 than what they had in week 1. None of that matters. None of it matters in the sense of if you can't line up and get 1 yard, it won't matter because Garrett can't throw 65 times for you to win this game. You got to find some explosives. And here's the thing. You cannot, in the running game, what you cannot do to go where you want to go. You want to be in the playoff. If you want to go where you want to go, you got to be able to run the football. It's a bottom line. And I think that the concern for me is, are you going to get out physical by Clemson? When do you as an offensive line, when do you as a team, when do you as an offensive unit or just a team unit say enough is enough? Enough is enough. And like you said, we're going to buckle up our chin straps and go punch somebody in the mouth. Because at some point as a culture, we talk about a lot of things with Brian Kelly. Let's talk about one thing with Brian Kelly. Let's talk about culture. The culture that he had at Notre Dame was, yeah, man, they might lose. They don't really have the skill players. Like, they can't get those guys. But, brother, they're not going to really just get out physical all the time. I mean, they might lose, but they are a physical unit. At some point, you got to go in there and bust somebody's ass wide open. I mean, it is it. Now, you talk about the negative part of that, but, I mean, Carter, you got a lot to prove. And listen, here I'm going into it assuming that, listen, if you lose, you lose, but it's a culture statement. This game is a culture game. Where are you? Because if you can go in there and win, then you show a lot of people what you've built.
Yeah, and I do want to bring up Barrion's name, and you've done some research on this. And for those that don't know, Blake, you work your ass off away from this, right? Sometimes it's hour-long conversations with me, but you talk to a lot of people.
A lot of people. My damn phone bill is expensive.
Right. I don't talk to as many people. I talk to some players, some staffers, and all of that. One thing that I have, backed up and what you said in the past is like Barrion Brown has really worked his ass off. Like, I mean,
a lot better last couple of days.
And I think you listen to the interviews he's done, and I don't like to take too much away from player interviews and stuff, but with some of my Mark Stoops research, I've been able to know a few people at Kentucky, and they're like, hey, we still think he's got juice. I mean, we think that he needs to be in an offense like this. I mean, I don't think people quite understand the gap in offensive styles going from Kentucky to LSU when there is a 150 pass attempt gap between what he basically, it's around that 150 number. That is ridiculous. So I understand he's walking into a more competitive room, but he's also walking into more volume, right? This is going to be the best passing offensive environment he's been in. So I know he's been working his ass off knowing that, hey, this is my final year of eligibility. I gotta show out that I'm that dude. And you can't really, here's a crazy thing that's been happening with Barrion at the current moment. You notice how Chris Hilton's name hasn't really come up much last couple of days because every safety shading to Chris Hilton because they know where he's going. And it's happening to your own defense right now. Barrion catches a fade route in the back of the end zone, gets 1 foot in there on Ashton Stamps, and I got to be – they were in 0-0 coverage.
everybody wants to, see, Ashton Stamps gave up a touchdown. Brother, everybody in the country said he's the fastest man in America. He's not the fastest guy on your team, but that's what y'all try to tell me. And he's in zero press man coverage, and he gets one in the end zone. Problem is, Deshaun Spears went to the side of Chris Hilton first and shaded it to him, and they're like, nope, I'm going to Chris because I know he's running the fade. And then Barryon's on the other side, and you just go bombs over Baghdad. And that's the thing right now that, Carter, if you can stretch the field and teams have got to back out, and they got to back out because they don't have a choice, either one or two things are going to happen. The Ole Miss game is going to happen where they got 5 guys in the box and you still can't run the ball.
So sad, yeah.
Which is so sad. Or you're going to have 5 guys in the box and you're going to find running lanes with Caden Durham and you go off. They have got to. The biggest thing to change this running game, LSU has got to hit, not just throw. They got to hit on these deep passing routes. They got to give Garrett enough time. And quite honestly, Garrett has got to nut up and stand up in that pocket. I don't give 2 flying shits if there's interior pressure on him or not. At one point, you got to man the fuck up and rip it down the field, because when that happens, mark my words, they will bail out. And God forbid that play go for 6, because as soon as that happens, one time versus Clemson, everybody else in the country is going to say to themselves, we can't risk putting too many guys in the box. You got to hit it. As soon as that happens, the running game will open up, because at some point, Kate, you got 5 guys in the box, unless you're getting demolished, which you could. If you're getting demolished, Caden can find some run lanes. It is going to be the biggest thing about this team. If you go bombs over Baghdad and you hit, they're going to back out. The problem is teams did it a year ago on you, and then they still dominated you up front, and Ole Miss happened, and you couldn't run the ball. Think about this. One thing I'll tell you.
It's on. No, you're rolling, baby.
You had 4 losses this season ago, correct? In those 4 losses, okay, you lost them all in regulation. You almost lost to Ole Miss because you had to go into overtime. In those games last year, with 4 offensive linemen that got drafted, you ran the ball and got 90.6 yards per game. That would have equated to you being 128th in the country out of 133 teams in FBS, in Division I. You can't just throw them. You got to hit them. And when they do, we'll see you. But I got to tell you, a lot of people have told me that I'm critical on Garrett. I got to give him a lot of credit, man. The turnovers have come down. Carter, by this time last year, he had thrown about 12 to 13 picks. It's not. I will go back to those practice reports, and everyone, it's not that big of a deal. It's practice. Bullshit. Practice makes you better. Doesn't make you perfect. It makes you better. But it's come down, and he's run the football. I got to be real with you. I think I think that he set a tone for this team when he got hurt and he came back that quick. Had nothing to do with reps. Had everything to do with chemistry and tone.
Yeah,
he set a tone.
Yeah, when your quarterback play, I mean, we know the stories of Joe versus UCF and Jaden with the gash face versus Mississippi State, and playing through the concussions, obviously.
How crazy is it Jaden went 3 for 3 when he came back in and he had a concussion?
Oh, it's insane. I do that. It really is insane. But, basically this comes down to just like simple math, right? So
100%.
The reason why LSU went and got Barry and Brown is because they wanted 2 pure deep threats on the outside. And Chris Hilton and Barry and Brown, I don't know if either one of them are top 5 SEC wide receivers, but they are top 5 in the SEC at just running 9s, right? And stretching safeties with their speed, and that they have a lot of film backing up them hitting go balls, right? But if you can't run the football versus light boxes, and I think that's the key part of your analysis, Blake, you got a super rabid fan base. It's not that you can't run the ball. is that you can't run the ball versus advantageous situations, right? Those are two completely different things, right? And basically, anyone could do this. I know I'm the film study guy. I have no advanced football playing career, coaching career. Lucky enough, film study stuff has got me to where I am today, and live streams and all that stuff. But simply put, what I do every play, Blake, and you know this, I just count numbers, right? And this is what offensive coordinators do. Chip Kelly does this. The brightest minds do this. Anyone can just count. If there are 5 or fewer people in the box, which is like the line of scrimmage, the first level, the linebacker, or the first level, the defensive line, the second level, the linebackers, you've got to be able to run on it. All right. Versus a 6-man box, depending on how many hats you have in the box, which oftentimes LSU is going to have a tight end in there. You still got to be able to run, right? Because it's 6 on 6. It's just simple math, right? Even if it's even, you trust to be able to do it. And that was a big problem for LSU, is that they could not do it when numbers presented itself. And then to the other side of it, and I brought this up a few times, and I know we've gotten into so many Garrett arguments in the past, where we agree is when the deep shots are available, you got to hit them. And Garrett threw some absolutely positively beautiful deep balls last year, but there was more meat on the bone there. And look at it frustrated a guy like CJ Daniels, right? CJ was the main victim, if you will, of some of those deep ball misses. One versus UCLA, that was pretty clear, but there was a few others that he was missed on. So and when you go even deeper, shout out to mutual friend No Chill Sports. He has a chart that you can go look at, and you could see of the elite teams, LSU was not great in the red zone. And, you know, you can't take too much away from any press conference, but people really should go listen to Blake Baker and the Joe Sloan press conferences, because those are the only times they're made available to the media. All right. And it's hard, Blake, to really draw anything from those press conferences. It's so hard. But one thing you can take away from Joe Sloan, he used the word explosive a lot, and he also used red zone a lot. LSU had a 54% touchdown percentage last year. That's not good. You really, and just think about it theoretically. That means you're scoring in the red zone just over 1 out of every 2 times, scoring touchdowns. Whereas if you get up to 66%, you then get up to 2 out of every 3 times, which is drastic. It's massive. All right. So there's 2 sides of this. Once again, this is just simple math. You're losing a lot of touchdown equity, which means you're scoring 3 instead of 7. All right. So let's say you make 4 red zone trips a game. You're only scoring 2 touchdowns instead of potentially 2.5-ish touchdowns out of 4, if that makes sense. Okay. Or closer to 3 or whatever. But there's another side of it, right? Because we missed some deep ball touchdowns. You know what deep ball touchdowns do, Blake? You don't have to convert in the red zone at all, right? It's kind of like the stat that Craig Biggio has more doubles than Hank Aaron. Well, you want to know why that's the case? Because Hank Aaron had an issue with actually hitting the ball over the fence, right? So if you can hit, or if you can hit more of these deep ball touchdowns, look at how much easier the Baylor game was, the Oklahoma game was. You want to know why, Blake? Because you don't have to convert in the red zone, which is the hardest mother effing thing to do. So that's why Joe Sloan was saying,
not if you can run the ball.
Right. And that's the thing. If you can't run the ball and you have issues converting in the red zone, you have issues converting or just having explosive touchdown rates, that means your red zone percentage really hurts you, because you're not getting, and thanks to Caden, he had some deep touchdowns, more so in non-P4 games. But until Chris came back, you weren't getting those deep touchdowns. So hopefully you continue to have those next year.
Do you think, 2 quick questions for you.
Yeah,
do you think, just kind of yes or no on this, because I got a deeper one I want to get to you. No. Can Brian Kelly walk back play calling help with Joe Sloan after he did it at the end of the season? Like, can you go out there with Clemson without a play sheet?
Yeah, I think so. So. Yeah, it's where I'll disagree, because Joe Sloan had all season to prepare for this game. Like, it would be different if we had already had like one disastrous game. I think you have to give Joe some confidence. I also think, and I've made this point a few times and it's gotten pushed back. I think Joe is in a position where he wants to prove to LSU fans that he's the guy, as much as Brian Kelly wants to prove that he's the guy for this job, right? Because Sloan has heard everything. Oh, is it the Bryce Underwood situation? And you're the problem that our run game was what it was last year, and our play calling wasn't great. And those are valid criticisms. I will agree with that. But look, I would give Joe 100% autonomy to go out there and get this job done. I would. Don't meddle. Let him do his thing. If you want Atkins to have more say, that's fine because you just brought him in. But
I don't think he has any say.
I don't either. And we could get into a debate of if that's a good or bad thing coming over from Florida State. But I'm going to trust Joe. I'm going to trust Joe, and it has a very high likelihood of it firing back on me because I was very critical of him last year. But at this point, you just got to trust and hope he's able to call a game that's good enough for us to go out there and win.
Yeah, I'm not there. You got to go prove it. In reference to your 5-man box thing, Carter, I mean, you got more numbers if you have a tight end in the game. You literally have 6 guys to block 5. You just got more numbers, and you can't get blown off the point of attack. Sidebar here: the Jawan Johnson Wildcat thing has got to die now. I keep seeing media members talking about it and thinking they need to do it. If you can't run the ball normally, you don't need to get cued. Sorry.
This is a big thing about a Wildcat offense. I always ask, right? I understand Garrett can't run and we need a zone read option out there, okay? But I want people, and I have studied, as you know, Blake, the Wildcat offense really, really, really close, okay? What people don't mention about the Wildcat offense is normally the quarterback that's taking the snap is a badass motherfucker, okay? Normally it's Darren McFadden, okay, who's one of the best college football players of all time. Or it's Ronnie Brown, one of the best, not one of the best NFL players of all time. He ran in the NFL, but one of the best college football running backs of all time. When you had packages for a different rushing quarterback to come in, who was it? Well, it's Ryan Perlew, arguably the greatest athlete to ever come out of the state of Louisiana at the quarterback position. Where else has this worked? Well, Tim Tebow, one of the most athletic college football players of all time. This is not a shot at Jawan Johnson at all. It's just if you're taking Garrett Nussmeier out of the game, who's top 5 player on this team, consensus, I want the dude that's taking the snap to have proven or me truly believe that he is that guy. And I believe I like Jawan, but that's asking a lot. You could be the biggest LCA Knight fan in the world and think, well, for the Wildcat to work, oftentimes that quarterback that's taking the snap, he's a dude. Like normally when it works, it's the case. So I'm with you on that, Blake. But if it works in practice, which in this
it is not.
It is not, and you were there to see it, and it was explained to me that it was an amalgamation of it was a Kardashian. It was a Kardashian level ass. It was more out of place than it was more out of place than a CEO at a Coldplay concert. It was not something that I would necessarily run versus Peter Woods, because here's the thing. Clemson's got experienced linebackers, and they have Tom Allen coming in, who I don't know how you feel about him coming over from Penn State. I think that's
a great DC.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't think people understand like how different this like Jimbo philosophy going into this year, using the portal, and then firing one of his guys to go outside of the building That was so interesting to me. And I don't think Tom
Dabo
Allen's
Dabo went in the portal. Dabo's a
Yes.
changed man.
Look, I don't think like Tom Allen is like prime Dave Aranda or anything like that, but he's good. I mean, that Penn State, I know he had a dual freaking Carter last year.
Carter, no. Abdul Carter missed games, big dog, and they gave up like 50 rushing yards. No.
So, dude, I don't know, man. Like I do think Tom Allen's a good coach, and he'll raise
really good coach.
Like and
no one's going to respect it until Jawan sits back and throws a quick slant to somebody. They'll never respect it.
Or Blake have a successful rush. You know, what's been Jawan Johnson's best play since he's been playing?
Flat throw in the end zone against, I guess, Grambling, South Alabama, something like that.
It was against, I think, Nichols last year.
Or Nichols, there you go.
So, look, this is not me shatting on Jawan Johnson. I mean, everybody was I wasn't, but you guys saw how it was run. It's tough, right? I just think people, because of one Lil Wayne lyric that is still one of the best rap lyrics of all time.
What is it? Is it safe sex is great text, or great sex is safe sex is great sex? Better wear a latex because you don't want that latex that I think I'm late text.
Yes. Okay. It's not that one.
Oh, but, that's the best bar of all time, by the way.
I've said it on. I've said that on this. On this. It honestly is. But no, it's Wildcat offense. Check the paw prints. You can't finish that lyric, but
yes, I can. You ain't got no run game offense. Stop the nonsense. I can finish it. Oh, you ain't got no run game offense. Stop the nonsense.
Oh man, but I'll be honest. I'm not a Wildcat guy. I'm not. Now, if Gus wants to try it versus Alabama in the first game, to quote Lemieux, be my guest. Be my guest. Go right on ahead. But
all right, that's when we leave you. You get into too many Disney references. You're bringing up Taylor Swift, and
I wasn't the one that brought it up. This is the most exciting thing I do every week is talk to you publicly about the world of college football.
I hope it's not the best thing that you have every week. I hope you and your wife have great times together too.
Oh, dude, I crushed it with the wife today. I didn't tell her about the photo shoot, but she enjoyed it.
Has she seen it? Has she seen the photo?
No, she's the first. It pops up in her algorithm, but I did. Shout out to mutual friend Daily Joy. She sent me a hat for her. One of those SEC
pretty hats.
Yeah. Shout out to.
Just so everybody knows, and we can all bask in this glory right now. This is the photo that Carter.
And you never share screen, bro. You never share screen.
I mean, look at this. That is just sensual.
Dude, I feel what does it count? How many you have in here right now? 362 on YouTube.
I have 820. I have 822.
Okay. All right. I feel the moisture pouring through the screen right now. Everybody's like, damn, I wish I can look like that. But here's us hairy folk rule the world, man. My fellow Harrys, my fellow Chewbacca's out there. It is, but no, think about it. When you see the elite athletes with their shirts off, are they ever hairy? Are they ever? In the 80s they were, but something happened. Something they're rare.
Yeah. Wanting women to find us attractive happened.
So you're calling me not attractive. You're calling.
I'm just saying. I mean, you can't walk up in the bedroom and say, "Baby, look at this." And what you've been working on, you've been dieting, you've been losing some weight. She's got to see you, man.
Well, Taylor Swift doesn't mind. And she's the richest person on. She can have anybody she wants.
She also said her favorite meal in the world is chicken nuggets and barbecue sauce. How white of her.
Yeah, that's her target demo. She is the
that is the most Caucasian thing I've ever heard.
You want to know what's funny is
Italians are no longer in the Caucasian race. We're our own entity.
Oh yeah, y'all are different. Like if you look at like the most Italian, like if you look at someone like Sebastian Maniscalco, he's not like the other Anglo-Saxons of the world, right? But I will say, dude, this has been crazy. So Daily Joy was on the show earlier today, and I asked her this. I texted her last night and I said, hey, don't watch my show because every white woman that watches PHL is addicted to true crime murder podcasts, including my wife. Okay. Does your wife listen to this?
She used to watch a lot of.
Okay,
them,
exactly.
First 48. First 48. No.
What in the world is this? I leave PHL. And people don't think, all right, that this job is stressful. It could be stressful from time to time because you got to be entertaining for a full hour. I go out. My wife is listening to a podcast, and the victim had a smiley face carved in the side of her leg. I'm like, what the hell are you listening to? Is this Saul 17? What is this? Yes, dude, I can't listen to that. She's like, no, we got to get to the bottom of it. I'm like, you're listening to the same podcast. The case has been solved. And she was like, I just want to relive this. I'm like, oh my God. One morning,
That's
I'm just
psychopathic.
I tell her that. It's
no, I ain't telling your wife that. You tell her. You're married to her.
I have. I'm like, this is insane. So I asked Daily Joy, I was like, what kind of podcast you listen to? She said, I listen to true crime. I'm like, dude, I want to find
it's the thing right now. It's the thing.
No, it's been the thing for like 5 days. It has not faded. It is not. Yeah,
I can't live in that world. I lived in that world way too long. All right. Carter the Bean Bryant.
We'll see you
next Monday, buddy. All right.
All right, buddy. Do it.
That's